I'm heading into the Drawing Center in New York City to see the new Naudline Pierre show, and I'll just give you a quick spin around of the show first so you can kind of see the installation. I love these black walls, and her works are acrylic ink and charcoal and oil pastel on paper, and I just really love the types of shapes that she's creating, these kind of fiery sort of shapes. This piece is called Familiar Being. It's 39 by 21 inches, so it's kind of a medium-sized piece. And I just like the kind of mystical imagery. This painting here is called Beyond the Beyond, and this sort of snake-like woman, like sort of winding through the painting, like really captivates me. And then she's got like heads, you know, and like little mystical creatures, little flying creatures, like, you know, sort of around different parts of the piece. This painting here, I really like the colors. And this is an example of the kind of fiery shapes, like at the arms that she's creating. Yeah, just such beautiful like techniques, this kind of overlay of the acrylic ink with the oil pastels is like really striking, and it just feels really kind of fluid, like it just merges so nicely. Yeah, here's one of the little like mystical creatures, you know, these little, they're kind of like hybrid creatures. Like, are they animals? Are they, you know, we don't know, but it just feels so right. And the kind of altar shape, like this kind of like rounded top, or sometimes she's even kind of working with like triptychs and having kind of faces emerge out of the background. Yeah, and the colors are just like really beautiful. It feels really coherent with this kind of yellow and black sort of color scheme that she's working with. This is really striking here with the blue eyes, like the yellow-blue combination. This painting here reminds me a little bit of some of the first work that I ever saw of hers in her studio at the New York Academy of Art. She was doing these figures, and she'd texture them with kind of, like here we see this texture, this mark making, like maybe it's wings around the head, you know, but it just feels really kind of animal-like. Like sometimes she would put kind of like fur sort of on all of the bodies of the figures. Yeah, I'm so drawn to it. And this painting here, actually, it was one of the first ones I saw from this show. I saw it on Instagram. This kind of snake-like imagery actually reminds me a bit of Wangeki Mutu, who just had a show at the New Museum. And we'll end with this piece called Intertwined from 2022. And I think this is just such a beautiful piece, and it does have that kind of altar-like feel. So that's Naudline Pierre and her beautiful otherworldly work at the Drawing Center. And next we're going to hop over to David Zwirner and take a look at Luc Tuymans. So I'll give you a spin around of the show, and we'll take a quicker look at this first room, and then I think I'll spend a little bit more time in the second room, which was actually my favorite part of the exhibition. These paintings are absolutely enormous. You can't really like tell, but like this painting here, for example, is probably like 12 feet high. It's kind of interesting, this kind of border sort of at the bottom that he's doing. I notice he's doing some interesting stuff with borders. This piece really feels like him, what looks like sort of muted colors, but there's some nice colors like within it. And then this is the second room. I was pretty struck by this piece, again with like the muted sort of colors. And there's kind of like a nostalgic feel, almost like a black and white photo, you know, with some of these like paintings. This painting in particular really looks like the work of his that I really know, the kind of mark making that he's using. This painting's called Bucha, and it's a depiction of news footage that the artist found on YouTube about the atrocities of the war in Ukraine. And what's this little circle thing over here? Is that a play button? Is that a rewind button? And just the types of mark making that he does is like so distinctive, you know, kind of simplified, but also like really fresh. And yeah, they look like black and white photos, but you know, in color. This one's kind of funny. Is that Bob Ross as the Grim Reaper? I'm not sure. Definitely it's like Bob Ross though. And so that's Luc Tuymans at David Zwirner Gallery.